So, two highly respected up-and-coming commentary channels just got into a massive fight on Twitter. Dogpack404, who recently gained notoriety through his MrBeast Exposed series, and Soggy Cereal, who also blew up this year through exposing the MrBeast clone Eric, are currently attacking each other publicly. Dogpack404 is accusing Soggy Cereal of plagiarizing his videos and not researching them properly, and Soggy Cereal in return alleges that Dogpack404 willingly misrepresents and twists information in order to make MrBeast look as bad as humanly possible. And on Twitter right now, people are spreading a lot of misinformation on both sides, making this entire topic highly contested. So this video is going to be a full, unbiased, comprehensive breakdown of everything that went down. We are going to be exposing Dogpack's blatant lies as well as Soggy's hypocrisy. But before we get into it, I just want to quickly mention that YouTube Studio tells me that the majority of people watching this aren't actually subbed to the channel. So if you enjoy my videos, then please subscribe, because I am trying to hit 950 subs this month and I know we can do it. Anyway, back to the video. So today's video is pretty special considering I'm gonna be talking about two content creators I actually respect. Now, Dogpack is someone that gets criticized pretty heavily within the commentary community, and I do have some issues with his content, especially with this video right here, but overall I do kind of respect him because the fact that he managed to do as much damage to MrBeast as he did is really impressive. I mean, over 10 million views on his exposed videos, that is very formidable. And Soggy Cereal, on the other hand, is someone I also respect even more because his style of making content is extremely unique, since he essentially makes these light-hearted, family-friendly commentary videos with a focus on comedy, while also simultaneously actually exposing people and uncovering sensitive information about these creators that he's talking about, which is something that I think has been missing in the commentary space for a while now, because people like Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez, they make these extremely popular light-hearted commentary videos, but they never actually bring any new information to the table. They're always talking about something people already know is bad, like fishy advertisements or mental health healing products or tutorials on how to get taller. But Soggy Cereal, on the other hand, managed to pull off the same type of content while exposing people and uncovering lies, which is why I do highly respect him and actually watch his content. So now, even though I respect these creators, I have problems with both of them in this situation. But let's start at the beginning. So Dogpack404 took to his Twitter to call out Soggy Cereal, accusing him of being hypocritical and plagiarizing his content. He attaches a screenshot of Soggy Cereal exposing Brent Rivera for faking his videos, while simultaneously providing another screenshot of Soggy Cereal seemingly stealing a video from another creator, Roman Abalin, also known as No Fuckers. Now, in almost typical Dogpack404 fashion, the screenshot provided here is actually taken from a random Twitter reply Dogpack received, further confirming his pattern of behavior of just taking any information that he can get his hands on and running with it. Regardless, this does look kind of damning because the thumbnails of the two videos are really similar, but that's just at first glance. If you actually take the time to research this, it becomes very clear that Dogpack's comparison makes zero sense at all. Now, in this video, Soggy Cereal exposed Brent Rivera for plagiarizing his video. Specifically, he outlined how Brent Rivera copies the idea for a video, then proceeds to copy the thumbnail, and afterwards he copies the entire concept, sometimes even adapting the script line for line. Here are some examples.
This is Japan's cheapest capsule hotel, a first-class sleeping pod, and a capsule bed in a library. And I'm gonna travel around Japan to stay at all of them and more for the next 100 hours.
So we're in Tokyo, Japan, and for the next 100 hours, we're gonna be forced to stay in some of the most unique capsule hotels Japan has to offer. Let's do it. From robots that check you in to capsules that watch your sleep patterns, there's even a sleeping pod that's hidden in a library.
So most of Brent Rivera's videos have plagiarized ideas, concepts, styles, camera shots, thumbnails, and even plagiarized the original script bar for bar. So when Dogpack is calling out Soggy Cereal for his apparent hypocrisy, he's implying that Soggy Cereal, just like Brent Rivera, copied all of this from Roman Abalin. So let's actually talk about the content of Roman's video. Roman spends his video defending people making slop content.
And here's the thing though, which is kind of the point of this video. I actually kind of want to speak out in defense of slop, because yes, YouTube has changed, the content that is made on YouTube has changed, but also I feel like what's changed is that even the intent with which people make channels, it has changed now. Some kid from like a third world country, or just a kid from, you know, a poor family or whatever, from any kind of backgrounds, can essentially just put their foot down and create a ton of slop and potentially, once again, create life-changing amounts of money out of completely thin air, basically. And you know, if that's what it takes, then, you know, go ahead, basically, because it's way better to create, you could say questionable, non-highbrow, not artistic YouTube content. It's fucking way better than, you know, working like a regular minimal wage job or something. But look, not everybody wants to be a fucking artist and like a video essayist genius on YouTube, okay? Not everybody has the time or resources or the mental capacity or whatever to do that.
Meanwhile, Soggy Cereal's video directly attacks people making Slop content, so already the entire premise of the video is different. Roman is defending Slop, Soggy is attacking Slop. Furthermore, the people Soggy talks about as examples for Slop creators are Pyrocynical and More Pegasus. Meanwhile, Roman only uses Turkey Tom and Pepe Zilla as examples, so already while Brent Rivera plagiarized his videos entirely, Soggy only talked about the same topic as Roman, but he took a different stance on that topic and he chose different channels to use as examples and explore. So already there's a massive difference between what Soggy is doing and what Brent is doing. However, someone could make the argument that at the very least the thumbnail got stolen. Now I will say that even if it was stolen, I would not necessarily criticize Soggy too much for that, because Roman himself claims in this exact video that he absolutely does not care if people rip off his content or thumbnails, because he admits to doing it himself.
And there's been like at least one case or two cases where I made a video and he made a video about the exact same thing, like a couple of days later or whatever. I don't care. I don't care, because I've probably been inspired and I've probably copied like, or ripped off like the style of a thumbnail, or ripped off a style from someone over the years, like a million fucking times probably myself.
So Roman is literally so transparent that he says he ripped off people before, so he doesn't care if people do the same thing to him, which ironically is already discrediting Dogpack a lot, considering he's out here calling for Soggy's head just cause his thumbnail looked similar. Meanwhile, the person who actually made the original video that's quote-unquote being copied wouldn't even care about this. Now, even though all of this already makes Dogpack's call out completely redundant and pointless, there's one more hole in Dogpack's line of thinking. The thumbnail wasn't even stolen to begin with. Soggy Cereal has used the style of putting himself in front of 4 similar smaller videos on his channel before, and he even provided us with the original thumbnail on Twitter, where you can see that it's literally just a rehash of his old style. And then he further showed how before uploading, someone suggested to him that he should add yellow text saying YouTube situation is insane to make the thumbnail more complete. So there's absolutely no way Soggy copied this thumbnail. You could make the argument that maybe the person suggesting this to Soggy maybe saw Roman's video and got the idea from him, but even so, that person might have copied Roman's idea unconsciously, or it could all just be a massive coincidence. But taking into account all of the facts and Roman's statements in his video, I personally believe that this thumbnail wasn't stolen. But even if you disagree with me and you say it was stolen, I still think it's not a big deal, since the original poster, Roman, stated that he doesn't have a problem with it. So Dogpack made a terrible call out post on Soggy Cereal. But why did he do so in the first place? Well, Soggy actually dedicated 1/3 of his Slop content video to attacking Dogpack, which when I first watched the video admittedly came across as really off topic, because it has nothing to do with the first third of the video and barely anything with the last third, so it feels really out of place, especially since it doesn't even fit with the main topic of the video. Dogpack isn't producing Slop content in the slightest. But then halfway through the video, the reason why Soggy attacks Dogpack dawned on me. He briefly showed these leaked DMs on screen, and now this is just my personal interpretation of this. I could be wrong here, keep that in mind, but to me, these possibly out of context screenshots paint the picture that Dogpack reached out to Soggy, since Soggy is one of the fastest growing commentary channels out there, to try and get him to make a video shitting on MrBeast. When Soggy refused due to a lack of concrete evidence, with most of the proof relying on witness testimonies, Dogpack clearly got mad at Soggy, which is why he now dislikes him. This admittedly does further confirm the Nicholas the Oreo line of thinking that Dogpack immediately tries discrediting everyone who challenges him and his narrative, but also unfortunately I think the way Soggy Cereal tried to go about proving that Dogpack is untrustworthy felt extremely hypocritical to me. Now, essentially, Soggy Cereal's main problem with Dogpack is that most of his evidence relies on witness testimonies of ex-MrBeast employees. Now, the problem here is that Soggy tries disproving Dogpack's claims by getting the testimonies of current MrBeast employees instead. Now, this anonymous MrBeast employee in Soggy's video claims that Dogpack was an extremely disrespectful person while working at MrBeast, since he actively criticized the people making food for him and weirded out the other staff with inappropriate comments. But all of this literally means nothing to me, since Soggy's whole point is that Dogpack doesn't have a lot of actual proof for his claims, since a lot of them rely on anonymous testimonies. So in my opinion, it's completely hypocritical to then use an anonymous testimony as proof that Dogpack is actually lying. Like in Soggy Cereal's entire video section trashing Dogpack, he only makes 2 arguments that don't rely on anonymous MrBeast employee statements. He makes the argument that Dogpack lied about MrBeast painting Mac Hopkins out to be this random guy competing in MrBeast challenges, because in reality MrBeast introduced Mac as a friend in his videos.
And my friend Mac here is attempting to complete it.
But the problem here is that there are examples predating this where Mac is referred to just as a random contestant.
And for every trap this contestant survives, he wins $100,000.
Meaning that the narrative MrBeast wanted to present to his audience boiled down to Mac starting out as a random person who slowly became friends with MrBeast and eventually joined the MrBeast crew through sheer persistence. But the reality is that Mac has been an associate of MrBeast right from the start, so I do actually agree with Dogpack here that this was a disingenuous move by MrBeast. He clearly manipulated his audience's perspective on who Mac actually is. And the other point Soggy makes here is that in his mind he agrees with MrBeast suing Dogpack, and man, this is just a horrible take in my opinion, because even if Dogpack was wrong about literally everything he said about MrBeast not responding and just suing him is not the right thing to do. Think about every other YouTuber that got wrongfully accused of something and then immediately cleared their name. Two people come to mind: Bad Boy Halo, who got accused of grooming, and White, who was painted as an abusive guy. Both of these people responded to false allegations disproving them before threatening legal actions after that. And that makes sense, right? Because if someone came along and accused me of like being a predator and I can easily disprove that claim because they're lying, I would have a field day because that's free good publicity. So instead, choosing to not respond and immediately sue the person for me comes across as a literal admission of guilt. And even if MrBeast wasn't guilty, suing people for making critical videos is just morally wrong in my opinion and shows you that you can't take criticism. So I really don't agree with the sentiment that MrBeast should sue Dogpack. I think it would make much more sense for him to respond defending himself properly. But anyway, these are the only two arguments that Soggy actually makes which don't rely on anonymous sources, and obviously considering he wants to discredit Dogpack for being dependent on anonymous sources, it all comes across as extremely hypocritical. I think if Soggy Cereal just used his counter sources to cast doubt on Dogpack's claims, it could honestly have worked and I would be a lot more in support of the video. But him trying to disprove Dogpack's arguments with these anonymous sources is just too far-fetched to me, and now we're getting into the absolute stupidity of Dogpack's second response on Twitter. So Soggy Cereal pushed the claims he received from an anonymous source as fact in his video, which is stupid. But then Dogpack pushes back on these claims with a different anonymous source. I literally told the prep meal chef his food was shit. This is a blatant lie. Did you think maybe reach out to Andy, the prep meal chef, to ask him about this? We have now reached a point where we got to take a step back and think, what are we exactly doing here? These statements are absolutely ridiculous. There is a massive problem with these anonymous sources, because every single person working at MrBeast has an incentive to lie about Dogpack, and every single person that got fired from MrBeast has an incentive to lie about Jimmy. So I am sick of these untrustworthy anonymous statements. I want to see concrete proof instead of relying on these testimonies. Nobody knows who this Andy person even is. The whole argument here is that these anonymous sources are untrustworthy, yet Soggy uses anonymous sources to back up his line of arguing, and Dogpack then responds with even more anonymous sources. It is absolutely ridiculous. At this point I am not willing to take anything here as fact unless I see concrete evidence, cause Dogpack is defending himself by claiming Jimmy puts creepy messages in the work group chat, but there is literally no evidence attached to this. It is all hearsay. He could be lying, he could be making all of this up. This all means nothing to me. And the ironic thing here is that Dogpack even realized that Soggy sources are untrustworthy, saying they should show footage of Dogpack acting creepy and insulting people because they have cameras everywhere at MrBeast HQ. Yet at the same time he's missing the point completely, because most of his accusations rely on these exact same witness testimonies just from other people. The best example for this is the claim that MrBeast faked the Stranded 7 Days at Sea video. Dogpack insinuates that they didn't spend the nights on the stranded raft, but instead they slept in their production yacht. Soggy instead claims that they had to leave the raft due to a heavy storm and slept on a small boat. And both of their sources directly contradict each other, meaning the claim itself is completely untrustworthy. So what should happen instead is MrBeast should show the raw footage. That's how we can verify claims like these. So the fact that MrBeast doesn't show anything and he just sues Dogpack makes him look very guilty for some accusations, especially since if he only left the raft due to safety reasons, he still didn't complete the challenge. But my overall point here is that without concrete evidence, all of these anonymous sources should literally mean nothing to us, unless there is an overwhelming consensus within them. So overall, I do believe that Dogpack was just blatantly wrong in his Soggy cereal call out, and he does come across as kind of desperate since he's trying to convince so many people to make videos against MrBeast and defending Dogpack. But at the same time, Soggy cereal's video also ended up being very redundant. All of the Dogpack criticisms could be true, but they rely on untrustworthy sources, so I can't confirm anything for certain. And I do honestly think that Soggy should have just used these different testimonies to cast doubt on Dogpack's credibility instead of, saying it disproves him outright. But then again, Dogpack's response to that ended up missing the point even more. So at the end of the day, I do think that Dogpack came out of this looking worse than Soggy cereal did, but both of them definitely didn't do themselves any favors by acting the way they did. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the video. Please share your opinion in the comments. I am so interested to hear what do you guys have to think about this. Are you on Dogpack's side? Are you on Soggy cereal's side? Do you think both of these people are idiots? I am very excited to hear it. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe, drop a like on the video, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you in the next one.